Hello and welcome to Spooning with Mark Wogan. We are here in the Lindsay room at Corrigan's Mayfair, and the team here have been cooking up a storm for my very special guest. And as ever, they will be trying the food that they love and the food that they think they hate. And they will be trying it blindfolded. But who is my very special guest today? Well, they're an author, they're an actress of stage and screen. I would say an activist. I would say an all-round trailblazer and the voice of the Teletubbies as well. Oh, and they do sing too as well. Welcome, Toyah. It's fantastic to have you here. And what made me so happy, right, when before you come on here, what we do is we send you a questionnaire, right? And those questionnaires have a varying degree of engagement depending on the guest. Yours was fantastic.
It's because I'm so psychologically damaged by food.
Well, hopefully we're not going to damage you further today. But just the answers were great. And when I see that, I go, there's someone who cares about what they put in their body and is passionate, even if it is slightly cranky occasionally or whatever, they care. And that's for me, that's the important thing with food. Do they give monkeys about what they put in their body? And judging by your questionnaire, yes, you do. But let us start. We're going to go all the way back to the beginning initially, right? So you're a Midlander.
The Birmingham girl.
Birmingham girl, born in Birmingham, and happy childhood.
This is where my relationship with food started, obviously.
Yes.
My childhood, when I was very young, was incredibly happy. I had no idea about the outside world and the world within the home that my father physically built with his own hands.
Yeah, because he was a joiner by trade.
He was a joiner by trade, and he built that family home with his father, who I never met. And it was a safe cocoon, but I never realized that I was so radically different and not what they expected. So I wasn't aware of this moment, but I was born at home, and my mother made the Sunday lunch, called the midwife, went upstairs, gave birth to me. When the midwife put me in her arms, she said, "This isn't my daughter. This is not my daughter. This is different." And the midwife thought she would just got a bit crazy from giving birth. And that's how my life started. And it's how it went on, with my mother saying, "You're not my daughter."
I mean, this is, it's extraordinary messaging to receive and could be damaging. But you talk about your mother with a sort of mixture of sort of great affection and sort of confusion, as well as to what was being provided to you.
I think in hindsight, I was born into one of the most dysfunctional families on the planet.
Is there a functional family? This is
possibly
my question.
not.
No, exactly. Just in case any of you are wondering, no, we're functional. No, you're not.
I had an instinctive and almost psychic feeling of protection towards my mother, and I don't know why. And my mother, in her way, had the same with me. And it was the most volatile relationship I've ever had.
One does pick that up as well. But I love the story of, how your parents met and your dad falling in love with her and seeing her on stage in Weston-super-Mare as a dancer with Flanagan and Allen.
Yes. My mother...
You need to be quite old to know who that was. But
my mother was a professional dancer from the age of 12. And from the age of 16, she had a permanent chaperone, a female chaperone. So my mother was touring with Flanagan and Allen. She even worked with Laurel Hardy at one point, but she didn't really talk about that to us. It was blanked. But there were newspaper cuttings of her reviews and her critics, which were really, really good. And she was a dancer in a dance troupe, phenomenally beautiful. She didn't learn to read or write. That came later in life when she got married. My father said that he saw her with his fifth fiancée. I think he was engaged to about 5 women at the time. and saw her on the pier at Weston-super-Mare and just fell immediately in love with her and followed her around the country, very bemused by the chaperone, this very strong, probably she was only about 34 years old, but my father never understood. Right up until the wedding night, the chaperone never left my mother's side.
So how old was your mother when she got married to your father?
19.
Wow.
And she had me when she was 29. So the chaperone was there because my mother's father was a bad person. And my mother needed protecting from him, but she never told anyone this. And on the wedding night, I think my sister was conceived, who's 8 years older than me. And when my mother had to cook the first meal, because it was such a traditional partnership, she so hated cooking that my father said she speared this leg of lamb with a fork and threw it at him. He ducked, and it went through the window, broke the glass of the family home, and he realised she was a firecracker. And thus...
Well, this is the impression you get, but you say she hated cooking, but was a good cook.
She was a great cook.
This is the story. I keep picking up this sort of, she's this and she's that. She's this and she's that. And was that was obviously at some level confusing to grow up around?
We were permanently confused.
Yeah.
Right to the end. We had a hot breakfast. We had tea when we got back from school. We had a hot evening meal 7 days a week. Sunday lunch. And it was all traditional. Fridays was plaice with parsley sauce. It was delicious. And boiled potatoes. By Saturday, it would be leftovers made from the family joint over the week. And then this gorgeous roast lunch on a Sunday. Everything was absolutely traditional and it was delicious.
And then you got extracted from that into the outside world. And it was very different for you because you self-confessed you were different. So therefore the world treated you in a sort of different way.
A totally different way. And I think I was born to be a punk rocker. So I left home when I think I was 17 when I left home and joined the National Theatre. Might have turned 18. But I was working from a very young age because my parents needed support. So I was working selling cigarettes when I was 16 at a department store called John Lewis in Birmingham, even though it's not linked to Lewis's. And that gave them rent because they needed the money. I then was a dresser at the Alexander Theatre and the Hippodrome Theatre for the likes of all of Dad's Army when they were touring.
Wow.
Sylvia Sims, who, oh my God, she taught me so much. And I loved her. Judy Geeson, who called me her little bird of paradise. So I made sure they had something to eat every evening. These stars. I got their costumes ready. I changed them in the wings.
But do you think it was that thing, because your mother was a performer, do you think there was that DNA in you? So you wanted to be around that world from an early age?
And I had very positive feedback when I was showing off on family outings. And I used to get on tables in restaurants and sing. And the feedback was incredibly positive. It's that your daughter must be on the stage. And it must have freaked my mother because she never really talked about her life before being a mum. And I just craved attention. And it could be because I had a brother who was 5 years older than me, that whenever mum put food in front of me, I was a slow eater. She would get a fork and put it on his plate. I was always hungry.
So, I mean, one might say, from the way you describe your childhood, it's sort of, again, it's that thing of like, there seems to be an element of joy about it and something that's quite sort of sad and tragic about it as well at the same time. I mean, it's sort of...
She drove us mad. She drove all of us mad. She was so contradictory. She would put a loving meal in front of us and then spend the whole meal screaming her head off.
I mean, look, I had an Irish mother growing up who would, again, that was always very loving. There was always a lot of food around, but she was never short of giving you advice or a criticism,
Yeah.
should we say.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it seems like it was turned up to 11.
It was turned up to 11, and she taught us to cook.
Mm.
I mean, she made the most amazing cakes. She had this obsession with something called a rock cake, which I think is absolutely vile. And she was
Depends who's
making them
making it.
on a daily basis. And my sister, who's 8 years older than me, we would put food in our mouth and instantly be told we were fat. And my mother's thing was, when she walked on the snow as a child, she never left a footprint. Well, when I walked on the snow, I used to sink down to the bottom of the ground. And it's like, you're heavy, you're fat, do something about it. I was told I was fat for the first 20 years of my life.
One of the things in your questionnaire that really stuck out for me was this particular item here. Now, I don't want...
God.
Well, it is related to your mother as well. Now...
Am I allowed to swear?
Yes.
Raspberries. Hell.
I mean, it's a raspberry, Toyah. Delicious. What's the problem? They're delightful.
Look
Oh,
at them.
look at them. Mm, mm.
So I
Oh my
bought
God.
my parents a home.
Yeah.
I owned the family home by the time I was 30 to keep them in it.
Mhm.
And then I bought them a
I'm
retirement.
going to move these away from you.
No, keep them.
Okay, right.
They're inspirational.
Okay.
Um,
Can I keep eating them?
Yeah, of
okay,
course.
okay.
And I bought them a home on the River Avon, a beautiful fisherman's cottage. And then I was able to buy the one next door so I could live next to them, look after them in the last 10 years of their life. And they never understood I was a creative person. Even when I was having hits, they never understood they came from me.
But I mean, so this is the insane thing about this dynamic with you and your parents is you're so creative and such a sort of powerhouse of creativity, unstoppable sort of creative force. And they're going, are you?
But they didn't know what I did. When I first got a computer, they said, well, can you write? So anyway, raspberries, okay.
Yeah.
Bane of my life. I was full of inspiration. I had the plot, I had everything. And then at the window appeared my mother. You've got to pick the raspberries. The raspberries are going off. They'll die on the vine. I got a pair of secateurs.
Mm-hmm.
I went outside. I cut every raspberry bush at the base and threw the bushes in the river. And I've never eaten a raspberry since.
Right. So we've established Toyah doesn't like raspberries and there's no changing her mind. I'm going to put those over there because what I want to talk about next is something that you were part of that was such a sort of seminal moment for me as a young man, which was Quadrophenia.
Oh, yeah.
And you played Monkey. And I also love the story of how you came to be, because it's such an example of your tenacity as an individual that, you know, initially you were brought in to sort of coach John Lydon, or Johnny Rotten as he was known then, to be the lead role.
Yeah.
And then they decided, no, he couldn't do it for, I can't remember, for whatever.
The backers just didn't want a member of the Sex Pistols.
Because they were, I don't know if anyone remembers, they were quite controversial back then. We're talking 1979, which was at the height of sort of punk and the Sex Pistols.
He was wonderful, by the way.
Yeah.
Frank Rodham got me in. I was asking if I could be seen for the movie. And he said, well, we're not sure about that, but would you go meet John Lydon and coach him through 2 scenes to play Jimmy? And I read the Leslie Ash role.
Yep.
And he was wonderful. I arrived at his apartment, which was at the World's End side of King's Road, went up to the lounge, and there, unconscious on the floor, was a female band called the Slits.
Yep.
I think there was some of X-Ray Specs, possibly a member of the Clash. And we just stepped over the bodies, and this was midday. And we went into the kitchen, and he knew his lines.
Wow.
He made me a cup of tea. He was really lovely. And I thought, this boy has no problems with acting whatsoever. And then the next day we went to Shepperton Studios where we did the screen test. I was terrified. He flew through it. He was fabulous. And I never heard a thing again. And at the time I was making a movie with Katharine Hepburn.
Yes.
And we were in a studio in Wembley called Lee Electrics. And there next door was the Quadrophenia production office. And there on the ground floor, sitting at a street window, was Frank Rodham, the director. So I used to bang on the window, give me a fucking job. And I used to do this every night in Cornice Green, which I was making with Catherine Hepburn, was set in 1890. So I was in a wig, a corset. Give me a job.
There's this 5-foot person just banging at the man's window, dressed in traditional dress, saying, "Can you put me in your contemporary movie?"
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So he got me in, and I love Frank. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. And again, another gentleman. And he said, sorry, they wouldn't take John Lydon as Jimmy. And I said, well, is there anything for me? And he said, well, you're not quite right. So I didn't go away. I kept knocking on the door.
But I mean, I think that is in no small part to you grew up being told you weren't quite right, and it didn't change your opinion on what you were going to do anyway.
No, I just made sure I did it. And I am kind of convinced I can do anything. I can't, but I'm convinced I can.
But you know, do you know what? You share that with my father. My father had zero self-doubt. It's like, well, if I just kind of put enough effort in, it'll work, right?
Yeah.
And we would have arguments where I would go, no, the rest of us are wandering around showered in self-doubt going, no, I'm not sure I can do that, you know. Because you appeared on his show, what, 4 times?
Easily. He was wonderful. Well, you know he's wonderful. And in a world where there was some not so wonderful, very powerful people on TV at that time, your father was a shining angel. He was a
very sweet
beacon of light. And to work with him and to be interviewed by him, you were in safe hands.
Well, I mean, what's gone on in the papers recently with the BBC and, you know, in particular, the show that Frank Rodham created, MasterChef. So, I mean, I've always found that extraordinary that he directed Quadrophenia and then Alvida's Pet and then MasterChef. Doesn't make any sense at all.
Which is probably what's made him all his money.
No, exactly. You know, but that thing of the BBC ignoring stuff, ignore it, and then go, oh dear, we're sorry, fire everybody. I got a phone call after, you know, because John Turode got fired, right? I don't think John Turode should have been fired. No, I don't, you know, whether he, you know, I don't agree if he said something like that. Of course I don't agree with it, but it's like you got lumped in with something else and it's like,
I don't know what John said. I did MasterChef with both Greg and John, and they were divine. They were lovely to be with. And I've not seen what they're supposed to have done. That doesn't mean they didn't do it. It doesn't mean, you know, I just don't know. And I'm very protective towards women, especially having done Strictly the year after Amanda Abbington had what happened to her. I want to support Amanda, and I also want to work. So
isn't that funny, though, that you still feel by openly supporting women, you threaten your ability to continue working? Well, that's what I'm picking up from what you just said.
When I did Strictly, I was very vocal about my support for Amanda and that she needed to be seen. And I don't know if that went against me when I was on the show, but you can't whitewash and put things like that behind you, and they need to be addressed, and the world keeps on moving. So I'm really part of the world keeps on moving movement, but I just make sure what I see is not history repeating itself.
But what's interesting is, you know, you were, you know, you came to fame at a time similar to Dad, you know, 70s and 80s, and both of you household names. And I got, with what's gone on in the papers this week, I got a phone call this week from an old mate of mine who just goes, was your dad the only person at the BBC who isn't a weirdo? You know, and you kind of go, you know, yeah, maybe.
But it was a different world.
Yes. And he always said that. He goes, it was a different time.
It was
he said, time. You know, that people would arrive with their daughter and go, sit on his lap.
Yes.
And you go, okay, you know, and then he goes, eventually you just go, you keep going, I'll stand next to her if that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like, and now No parent would dream of doing that.
Not at all, no.
But at the same time, you don't realise that you're putting your child in the hands of someone who might not have their best intentions.
And I think I gained a reputation for standing up for myself.
Yes.
And I mean, I hit one manager full in the face with an ashtray. So sorry.
Which one?
Wanted me to leave my boyfriend, and he had the chauffeur come and get me. And I walked into the office, and he went for me, and I just picked the, and I said, "Don't ever touch me again." And I had a reputation for.
No, you had a reputation of being a tough cookie.
Yeah.
But kind of were respected for it as well, because you said, and have said many times, that the kind of performer and actress that Katharine Hepburn was
the same.
Was very inspirational to you, which she broke the Hollywood mold.
I loved her so much. Oh my God. I mean, when we met, there were sparks. And I was sent along to 74 Eaton Square to meet her and the director, George Cukor. I had no idea who they were. And I borrowed my wig from...
But you were like 17, 18 at the time?
Yeah, I would have seen her in all of the black and whites, and I kind of recognised that. But I didn't know that George Cukor directed Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, Judy Garland, and A Star Is Born. So I borrowed a wig from the National Theatre that was a character wig from a play I was in when I was 18. And so I arrived looking pretty normal, and because I'm small, I could play a 13-year-old girl, which is what I was at the beginning of this film, The Corner's Green. And there were sparks. She fired my soul. All the A-listers I've met are spiritually completely different. They are a different breed. They are special. And
well, it's it, isn't it?
it's the it.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got it.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
No, I think you've got it, definitely. And it, we talk about it, and it can make someone, or it can break someone as well.
Oh God! But going back to Katharine, if I may.
Yeah.
At that audition, I was supposed to just read briefly. We were 3 hours together, and when I left, there was a queue out the building, round Eaton Square, of girls waiting to do the audition.
Wow.
And I got the job. And we were both incredibly independent. And I think that's what she taught me, was you don't have to be unkind, you don't have to be frightening, but be independent. And I was definitely independent.
Yes. And that came across. I mean, when I first saw you perform, and I was a young man, top of the pops. You see you perform, you go, that's a lot straight away.
Yeah.
I mean, because the
Dial it down.
hair was a little different.
Yeah.
And the performance was energetic.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of what was going on, because you were in Toyah, the band.
Yes.
And you toured, and you were very successful with that. But you kind of got into music in a more depth because you felt you weren't being treated properly or understood as an actress. Would that be correct?
No, that's not correct. I always definitely wanted to do both.
Right.
I mean, it was fun.
I mean, and you have continued to do both.
I got spotted on the streets of Birmingham because this was about 1976, and two brothers, one Nick and Tony Becat, one wrote plays, the other wrote music, were trying to cast a half-hour play on BBC Two called Glitter. And they couldn't find any girls that hadn't been trained by a theatre school to be like a West End singer.
Right.
And they wanted a rough diamond. And they were so desperate, they actually went to Pebble Mill to have production meetings. And they said to the wardrobe department, "Do you know anyone who can play the lead?" And they said, "You've got to go and find this girl called Toyah Willcox. She's got brightly coloured hair. She makes her own clothes, and she's just so confident." So they came to find me at my drama school, the Birmingham Old Theatre School, and I wasn't told they were there to see me. So they came into a dance class, and the next day I was invited down to Wigmore Hall to do an audition, ironically with Phil Daniels, who later starred in Quadrophenia.
Yep.
And I got the role. And in this play, the story was of a girl who wanted to sing on Top of the Pops. They break into the studio in the dead of night and sing 2 songs, and they're caught by Noel Edmonds. That's not
Wow.
a story.
Well,
And I mean, talk about life imitating art, vice versa.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I wanted to do.
was Noel Edmonds in it?
Yeah,
I mean,
playing himself.
obviously he's in New Zealand now.
I know.
Have you seen any of that?
I haven't. I was with him before he moved to New Zealand,
Yeah.
and he was telling me why, and we were friends.
Yeah.
And but he was just, this big star back in 1976, and I was acting with him.
But I mean, when you, and you have to set aside most of your day, when you look at your Wikipedia page, I mean, it's long. It's a big Wikipedia page.
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
you've done a lot, and when you look at filmography, and then you go through all the feature films, of which you did 10 or so
I
more.
think it's about 29 now,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
do very small cameos now.
Yeah. But where you were either co-star or star, or
Yeah.
it was about 10 big
Yeah.
feature films that you've done like that, and then you kind of get this sort of warm glow of the sort of level of cultural icon that you are, because it's like there's all these shows over the years that you've appeared in, and next to it says as herself, as herself, as herself, as herself. And then we come into the age of reality TV that we've talked about, doing MasterChef, doing,
Celebrity.
very early adopter of Celebrity Get Me Out of Here.
Second series.
I mean, just
2003, I asked to do it, and ironically, I got it because John Lydon walked off,
yes.
and then he
They
did
needed
it the
a punk.
following. Yeah, they needed a punk.
Do you think, because I mean, that punk era was made for you.
Yes.
What do you think you would have been if you were born, say, in the 50s?
Barbara Hepworth.
Really?
I'd have been Elizabeth Frink or Barbara Hepworth. I want to pick up a chisel and carve stone.
I mean, and God help the piece of stone. That's all I'd say.
Yeah.
Because it's.
I could do it with my forehead.
Now, also, reading your food biog, I get the impression you are a cultivator as well. You like to grow your own.
Yeah, we're self-sufficient.
Yes. Now, down here, I have, now let me just, they're there. Let me just grab those there. I want you to tell me how good you think these are, because you said heritage tomatoes, but these are Sungolds, little cherries.
Beautiful.
Now, I can't take credit for these. My next door neighbour, Hayden, grows these.
Hayden, you got it right.
He grows so many and then always goes away at this time of year. So he goes, come round, help yourself. I mean, he's got 2 greenhouses full of tomatoes.
We have too.
And what people don't get is when you taste a tomato like that, that's a tomato.
It is a
It's
tomato.
not the sort of soggy bit of cardboard that you get from a supermarket. Supermarket tomatoes,
Well, they're forced.
they're not tomatoes.
But also, I see tomatoes as the great healer, and some people see them as the great poison.
Really?
The more you cook a tomato, the better it is for your body.
Mm-hmm.
So I pick our tomatoes and I make huge batches of tomato soup that go in the freezer.
Right.
We get through them within a month. Mm-hmm. But the more you heat up a tomato, the more its properties grow. And I believe they're vitally important for gut health.
Do you mind if we talk about your husband and your marriage for a minute? So you are married to
Robert Fripp,
Robert Fripp, who
King
was
Crimson.
one of the founders of King Crimson.
He's also, if you love the song Heroes, he's the guitar player on that. As with fashion, he played for David Bowie.
He's a very gifted musician, and anyone who's seen your online stuff that you've done together will know how gifted you are, because that is fantastic.
Thank you.
I love that, and as does my wife as well. But you have quite a unique living arrangement, don't you? You don't live in the same house.
The only time we ever really lived together was during lockdown, and we loved it. Really.
Why didn't you carry on?
Well, we live very close to each other. So he's got a beautiful house in a market town just outside Worcester, and I have an old water mill literally 10 minutes away. But we're like our paths are crossing all day long because I create all our social media content in his home.
Right.
And he normally comes and eats at my home.
Fair enough. Yes. But do you think, because you've been together, nearly 40 years now?
Yeah, we're at 39 at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think that is the secret to your success? Or is the secret to your success not having children? Or
That's a difficult one. My husband, I think, has a commitment problem, but it's not as bad as it sounds.
Okay.
He has to have his own space. He is a very organized hoarder. He can't throw anything away.
Like my recently departed mother, she was an expert hoarder.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's no room for me in his house.
Okay.
No room for him in mine either. He just takes up space.
But if you had to take that stance in your house, because that's what you're met with in his, I mean, would you welcome him in?
No.
Okay.
Because he'd take over.
But do you think, you've been together that long, you're both creatives, which often doesn't go together. If you've got two creative forces together, that can clash quite significantly. And do you think you were both aware enough and sensitive enough to know if we brought this together on a permanent basis, it's going to implode?
No, I found the beginning of our marriage incredibly hard because I wanted to live with him and I wanted to be with him 24 hours a day.
Right.
And he'd go off and live in Washington, D.C., and just come back every few months. It was hard, but it also allowed me to develop my business skills, other skills. I just worked even harder when he was away.
But looking at your career and the many different branches that it's had, whether that relationship was there or not, you would have just worked voraciously anyway. Yeah. I think that's who you are.
I've not had the career I wanted. I wanted to...
Whose career? Well, you've had just about every career. Which one did you want?
I wanted to work in stadiums. I wanted to do big stadium shows. That didn't ironically start until 2003, 2002. I never knew that would happen. I suddenly got a fax, a good old fax, saying, would you like to play Wembley? And I thought it was a joke. And I've played kind of arenas ever since. Yeah. But they're multi-bills.
Yeah.
That's a blessing, absolute blessing. But I was so ambitious. I just wanted the world and I wanted to control the world. And I had to face the fact.
How's that gone for you?
I've been a failure, really.
Been a hard work,
yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you're always going to be a failure if that's what you're aiming at, isn't it?
Of course.
So the other thing you attest to, which, I am also one, is a sugar addict.
Oh, my gosh.
So you'd go dairy milk. Oh, Now, you see, I love a dairy milk. I do not like posh chocolate at all. I wouldn't thank you for something that's been crafted by an artisan. I just want that.
Yeah.
But I've come around to this recently.
It is nice, and they do some really great flavours.
Yeah.
But
we're talking about Tony's Chocolate Only here. We've got a bar of dairy milk and a Tony's Chocolate Only.
It's the in-the-mouth experience.
Yes,
of
the mouth feel.
Which is unique.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I think there's a lot of coconut fat in there.
Yeah, no, there was tons of palm oil or something.
Yeah.
It was genuinely not good for you. And this is what I always find funny is like, so you describe yourself as a clean eater. You describe yourself as an advocate of not eating processed food, no ultra processed food. We'll gobble down that all day long. And I'm the same. It's like, I'm all about the quality of ingredients that I cook and whatever. But if you stick me on my own,
yeah,
I'll eat that.
I mean, 4 p.m. every afternoon. If there's licorice all sorts near me.
Good old Bertie Bassett.
Yes. If there's Percy Pigs. I mean, anything. If it's sweet. There was a time when I'd whip up egg meringue, egg whites with sugar. Yeah. Just to get a sugar rush. Because I was trying to come off sugar.
But do you think that is because your body craves the sugar because if you're awake, you're on? Do you get to about 11 o'clock and that's it, I'm asleep?
No, I don't sleep at all.
So you don't sleep either?
No, I don't know when I've slept.
Yeah.
It's not quite narcolepsy, But my husband keeps a note of when he sees me fall asleep. And then I'm usually up by 2 a.m. and there's nothing I can do about it, nothing. So I tend to do the really boring stuff like the accounts because it's so dull and I hope I'll fall asleep.
But I just, it's like, where does all the energy come from?
I have no idea.
I mean, because it's not just sugar fueled, because there must be appalling crashes off. If you're only fueling it through sugar, the crashes would be enormous.
I have no idea. I've not slept since I was about 14 and people now leave me alone about it. People used to buy me books on how to sleep and I said, please, if you don't fall asleep, you don't fall asleep. There's something about childhood and getting your tuppence every week to go to the tuck shop and buying sherbet fountains, sweet tobacco, and even marshmallow cones. It's the comfort of that memory. And I think I was allowed sugar very young, therefore I'm addicted to it.
Well, I mean, so am I. I mean, I can't, and I was talking, who else is really heavily addicted to sugar? Chris Evans.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. So Chris he can't. We currently both have an obsession for Roundtree's watermelon lollies.
Oh, I've never seen or
Well,
heard
we
of
think
those.
we've kind of convinced ourselves that they're good for us.
Okay, are they?
No, of course they're not. They're full of sugar.
Right.
But we'll eat 3 a day.
Oh my goodness, okay.
But I, if I opened those now, I would finish those.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that. I'd have 1 square a day.
Oh my God, I can't. No.
My personal manager gave me one of these
Bless you.
Bless you. My personal manager gave me one of these blocks for my birthday, and I'll have that for about a year.
Oh, one of the big.
Yeah.
Now you see, my family think it's hilarious to give me one of those for Christmas and watch me consume it in one sitting.
Oh, I said
there is a very, very overnourished man dying to get out here.
I know. Well, you know those giant Toblerones?
Yes.
I send those to people, and then every month I say, how you doing? Funny enough, my sister made hers last for 12 months. My brother ate his in a month, and my guitarist ate his in a week.
Yeah. You see, I'm like your guitarist. I'm with him. Now, I do have something down here that may help you with your sleep, but hopefully not right now, because we've got to that point in proceedings where I'm going to ask you to don the Spooning with Mark Wogan blindfold.
Fantastic.
I mean, that name. So you were kind of came to light during the punk era. You had a unique name. It was like all the sort of arrows were pointing in a certain direction.
Definitely, yes.
But you've never sort of stood still. You've never rested on your laurels. You've always changed, developed. You sort of think, Toyah, oh, she did that in the 80s, and then suddenly you're voicing the Teletubbies, and
well, that was just. My best friend created Teletubbies. Well, very good friend at the time, and I'd done all the voices for Brum, which was a children's series. And she said, would I come in and do her a favour and just be the opening narration and closing narration on Teletubbies? And it was a pilot. And she was incredibly concerned. She'd mortgaged her house to make this pilot, and the BBC didn't want it. And then one of those wonderful showbiz miracles happened. The BBC lost a contract with, I think, an American children's series, and they had space in the schedule, so they put Teletubbies on. And Anne Wood went from having 1 pilot to being told to make 360 shows within a year. She said it just went crazy.
Yeah.
And it made the BBC £1 billion.
I mean, it's huge.
It is huge.
But how much of that did you get, Toyah? Not enough.
I got a buyout.
Of course you did. The good old BBC buy you out.
Yeah.
Yes. But so you're doing that. You continue to act. I mean, your sort of list of credits is endless, and it's everything from sort of, doctors to Kavanagh QC to Maigret, everything. It's like
Minder.
Minder exactly is, and you keep popping up. It's almost like you know, that there is nothing that can keep Toyah down.
When I'm feeling a little insecure, I ask myself, you know, were these directors and producers interested in working with me, and then they worked with me and thought never again? Because I've never starred in my own series or had a long running anything.
Yeah.
So it does, you know, you do question that.
Yes, you would do. But I think you only need to look at your Wikipedia page, not to stop questioning it.
Well, I have a lot of awards, including acting awards.
I know.
So yeah.
I know, it's like this, because theatre, huge body of theatre work
Lots
as
of
well.
Shakespeare as well.
I know, and it's all this stuff that, I'll be honest, until I read it, I was like, God, I never realised that she did all of that. It's like, and I'm sort of thinking, when did she get time to grow a vegetable, or even get back to her mill house? When does that happen? Or play music with her husband, or organise a tour, or as we are talking about today, bring out
Chameleon, which is a 45-year retrospective of my recording career. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, you recorded a lot of stuff, and you know, and you wrote a lot of stuff as well. You know, the other thing as well is it's funny that you know the stuff that you do with your husband now, which is a lot of cover stuff.
Yes.
I mean, you were quite adamant at one point in your career, and I think there was a kind of snobbery towards doing covers before.
Snobbery in the 80s. Covers? No.
Yeah, exactly.
But what we've done with Sunday Lunch, which is our social media platform, and there's 150 million visitors to
I know,
it.
it's extraordinary.
We've gone
because it's good.
Oh, thank you. But we've gone for classic rock.
Yeah.
And this all started in lockdown, and the world suddenly realised they love classic rock. I mean, we've had artists write to us. Judas Priest had a surge in ticket sales for their tour when we covered Breaking the Law. Billy Gibbons of ZZ Top was...
But if anyone hasn't seen these, they do have to go online and watch them, because they are brilliant.
Well,
because I mean, your husband is obviously a gifted musician,
and he's a very serious man.
Yeah, he doesn't know,
but not on Sunday Lunch.
No, but you know, he takes his craft very seriously, as do you. You know, because underneath the kind of performer is a real professional. You know, which I think could be lacking slightly now with certain. I think with the way that the sort of world of fame has gone.
Okay.
That Dad always used to say that fame was an occasional byproduct of talent.
Yes.
Now talent is an occasional byproduct of fame.
Well, you can't say Adele doesn't have talent.
Oh no, she's amazing.
Or Ray, or
there are
or Youngblood. Who, I mean, I look at Youngblood and I think that was me when I was 20. You know, uncontrollable energy, but great talent. I think there's some fantastic talent emerging now.
Yeah, there's also some rubbish out there as well. But I think, you know, you've got. It's funny. I watched something came up on my Instagram feed the other day, which was Mick Jagger being interviewed about music in the 80s, and he was so rude,
scathing. And he did a really good solo album in the 80s, and that got bad reviews. And it's a great album. But yeah, he'd hate 80s.
No, but I mean, he was like, you know, Spandau Ballet are rubbish. Frankie goes, oh, they're a joke. I mean, he's sort of just been coating everybody.
But he is Mick Jagger.
Yeah. No, but what was funny was, I now remember where I saw it, Gary Kemp from Spandau Ballet had put it up on his Instagram feed.
Yeah.
Because obviously you were part of that whole new way. You know, you started in punk, new wave, all of that sort of thing. It was such a movement and such a sort of shift.
It was
it was a shift for the country out of the doldrums of the mid-70s, wasn't it?
It was so beautifully bright and vibrantly colourful. And I had a warehouse called Mayhem from about 1978 through to 82, where Steve Strange, Spandau Ballet, Iggy Pop, John Cale, they all came to perform there or rehearse there. and the vibrancy of people. They were nonconformists, they were all rebels, they were all slightly dangerous but really lovable rogues. And it was such an exciting time.
Great big building full of lunatics.
Yeah.
Who
eccentrics.
Yeah.
They were English eccentrics, yes.
But they're the kind of people you want to spend time with, aren't they?
Oh boy, yes. And of course I made 2 movies with Derek Jarman, who really did discover Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
And I won awards for The Tempest. I was Miranda in Shakespeare's Tempest, which is one of Jarman's greatest movies. I was Mad in Jubilee with Adam Ant, first punk rock movie.
Another phenomenal. But there was that kind of dichotomy, wasn't there? That a sort of making a movie about punk was actually quite unpunk.
Well, I think now in hindsight, it's a piece of historical brilliance.
Yeah, no, it is.
But at the time, Clash walked off it, Susie Sue walked off it, all the superstars of punk disowned it. And I think in time, it's become a blueprint for punk. It's so powerful.
Well, it's like if you want to explain punk to people.
Jubilee.
Yeah, look at Jubilee.
Yeah.
Well, we've got to that time. I'm going to ask you for the first time to don the blindfold. You like the way I got it to match my shirt?
Well, I know, it's like a very small bra.
Yeah,
I love it.
Exactly. Pop that on your face, though.
It won't fit anywhere else. I cannot see a thing.
Cannot see a thing. Good. Now, I am going to feed you, so it is a trust exercise. I'm just going to move your chocolate for later out of the way. Isn't it? What?
Yeah.
Is it your first blindfold? I find
that the first time I've ever been fed since I was about 1 year old.
Okay, here we go. So we are going to kick off with this. I'm going to give you a little spoon of this, prepared by the fantastic team here.
Tell me what to do, because I'm really...
Here we go. Here we go. It's coming in. Open wide. Here we go. Oh, pull yourself together, Toyah. Here we go.
Not heard that since I was at the gynecologist. So sorry.
I love that. There we go. Ready yourself. Here we go. Open wide. Now, tell me flavours, texture.
Oh, lemon.
Yeah.
Lemon curd. There's something, pastry.
Yes. What could that possibly be?
Well, is it lemon meringue pie?
No, take it off. Look, that is a delicately produced.
Oh,
perfect
Citron tart.
Tarte au citron, made by Simon here, the head chef. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
I have this. I'm okay with lemon if it's pure.
Yeah, you only want the juice.
No. What I mean by that, if it's on something else. I don't put it on my fish and chips. I don't put it on my fish. I don't put it on dressings because I'm really fussy about flavour combinations. They irk me. It was delicious. Why have you given it to me?
Well, because you said, what we always try and do is challenge perception. So you wanted lemon. You said, I only want lemon on its own.
Yeah.
And I always think that and I absolutely see where you're coming from on that sort of thing about in combinations being wrong or whatever, but this is such a classic combination and a classic use of lemon that I think that's just a little bit creme fraiche with some candied peel on the top.
I see, that's lovely.
See what
because it's whipped.
Yeah.
And the flavour travels straight up into the sinus. You experience it so completely.
But you wouldn't thank anyone for another piece of that?
Well,
oh my God, that's so good.
If it was the only sweet thing available, I'd have it.
Well, you see, that was the other thing. I thought if I combine lemon with your with your favourite thing of sugar, then maybe we're on to changing your opinion about lemon.
No, it's beautiful. I have to be in the mood. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, look, I think I get the impression that anyone who would cross Toyah's mood could be in trouble.
No, I just wouldn't eat.
But in general,
such a horrible person.
No, not at all. But I mean, you have told us you hit someone in the face with an ashtray.
Yeah, but they weren't grabbing me.
Yeah, fair enough. He deserved it. Has anyone else fallen foul? Would you say because if it's a slightly rubbish word in the context though, but feisty, right? Has anyone else fallen foul? Has anyone like,
I'm a punk rocker.
no, but like a big name that you just like, back then they were just like, no, I'm not having that off you just because you think you're...
I'm not proud of ever having fights with people. And back in the punk days, there was a lot of occasions.
Anyone who stood still long enough.
There was a lot, you know, excuses to have a punch up, you know, especially when you're on stage.
I mean, people forget all of that. It was incredibly physical as a movement as well. It wasn't just posturing.
We were attacked. The culture of teddy boys would attack us. It became sport to attack a punk rocker. And I mean, this is not a good experience to explain, but it puts it in context. I was walking down the King's Road. It was 1977. I was with a beautiful gay person called Howard, delicate, beautiful boy who loved West End musicals. And I was a full punk rocker. We're walking down the King's Road and someone punched him in the face. And it happened quite often. Now, if you hit my gay friend, I'm going to hit you back.
Yeah.
And a full punch up started, and it was some football fans, and they tried to throw me through a chemist's window.
Yes.
And across the road, Derek Jarman, the director, had an art exhibition, and he saw this happen, and he smashed the chair in the art studio, and he ran across the road with a chair leg and hit the living daylights out of this group of boys. And then he grabbed me by the collar, he grabbed Howard by the collar and took us back. And I learnt off Derek, stand up for what you believe in, because he really put his life in danger that day. And I'm not going to have my beautiful, gentle gay friend punched in the face every time we went out in public. And it did happen a lot to him because he was small like me. So in the beginning, I would stand up for myself. And then Sir John Gielgud said, look, you're not in a zoo. You are an actress at the National Theatre. Behave that way.
I can just see him saying that.
So, you know, I learnt that lesson.
Oh, dear girl, you're not an animal in a zoo.
And in a way, Katharine Hepburn helped me channel that energy into being more intellectual about it and to stand my ground and to argue and do what I believe in.
In other words, respond, don't react.
Yes. Now I don't react at all. I'm a complete passive aggressive now, because I know that type of person is just going to end up hanging themselves.
But I mean, you know, you have sort of evolved into Toyah, subheading "Do not mess."
Well,
which is
I'm
fine.
A woman.
No, but I
think
think not that you would know it. I mean, but I think it is. You know, it's about what you put out. And I think when you are younger, you're struggling to be seen and heard and understood. And that was very much a period in sort of cultural history where young people went, no, you're really going to hear us.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know, I think we're heading towards that at the moment. The difference is with the sort of standing up for stuff and physically sort of standing your ground, the difference now is the type of violence has changed.
This was innocent violence in comparison today. So I've been on stages, I've played Milan Castle going on before Sting and the Police, and I was made to go on during a riot. Now, if back in those days, 70s, 80s, the riot police would regularly turn up at Italian shows, and there was a full-blown riot going on, and I was pushed onto the stage and made to perform with tear gas being shot at the audience, with arrests happening in front of me. And it was a very, very bad day historically for music and for Milan. And you become really tough, really tough. But the violence today, which for me doesn't seem to come from standing up for a better world.
It comes from just not being heard and fear.
Fear and gang-related and carrying knives. None of us did that.
But why do you do any of that? Because you're afraid.
And not seen and not heard.
Not seen, not heard.
And
you
poor.
literally have no voice.
You can't pay for your heating.
No.
You can only buy processed food.
Yeah.
And I think part of my passion about food is you become what you eat. And this is why I'm so into clean eating.
Yeah.
Is that you can balance your body's hormones better, which is all about anger and not being angry. You have more energy. And I believe food has living spirit in it. I mean, I don't know if you ever read the Celestine Prophecy, but I totally agree that you eat food that has a living spirit. And that's fresh food.
Yeah. I mean, ultra-processed foods are part of the demise of humanity, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, they developed out of a need to feed a much bigger population.
After a major war,
and
yeah.
I get all of that, but turn the technology the other way and look at how you can grow better stuff on a wider scale.
Yeah.
That's where we should be looking. But anyway, that aside, it is time for you to put your blindfold on again.
Oh, goody.
Because it is time for your second spoon. Are you blind?
Yes.
Excellent. I'm sliding this in. Here we go.
Do I open my mouth again?
Not yet. I'm not ready yet. I'll be with you in 1 second. I'm just going to...
Does everyone agree to do this for you?
Well, I mean, they get to this point in the proceedings, they haven't really got a choice. So let's just get that. Looks like a nice piece there. There we go. Look at that. Now, this. Here we go. You ready? Open wide. What flavors? What textures? Are we enjoying that? No, we're not enjoying that. Hold on a second. This is supposed to be the one you like.
I'm all right.
You were thrown texturally to begin with there, weren't you?
It's the mayonnaise.
Oh.
Is it lobster?
It is.
It's gorgeous.
Oh, thank God. Because initially your face said something completely different there. I was like, oh, God, no. We're going to be back with Nick and Nat Appleton spitting it out everywhere. But
did you?
Yeah, yes.
I love that.
Spectacularly. Anyway, you can take the blindfold off now.
That was delicious.
That is a Mayfair seafood cocktail.
Oh my God, it must be worth 100 quid.
I mean, they don't shy from that. There is lemon on the side. Didn't squeeze that over. I hope you noticed. There we go. Good look.
Crab.
Fresh crab meat, little brown shrimp, lobster, full-size king prawns.
Oh my God.
And then they've got all this delicious sort of pickled cucumber with it, and then the mayonnaise there. I mean, it is a spectacular dish. This.
The only reason I failed MasterChef in the quarterfinal is they gave us a crab and said dress it.
Right.
I hadn't got a clue what to do. I just stood there for an hour looking at it.
Now, most people who go on that get coached a little by somebody. Did you?
No.
No?
And this is the same with Strictly. I wasn't told to get coached, but I did go to the local restaurant where I live to learn how to prepare a monkfish, just so I was ready. Okay. And when I did Strictly, it was in my contract, no training, no past experience. So I didn't. I honoured the contract.
But hold on. Tell that to some of the contestants who were raised as professional dancers. I mean, I'm sorry, but...
Sorry, I'm eating this. It's
now,
so good.
Because the reason I asked that is recently we had another icon from the 80s on in Chesney Hawkes.
Lovely Chesney, who's been on our Sunday lunch.
Exactly, and is a beautiful man. Now, he let slip that when he did MasterChef, he did a little bit of training on the side with Jamie Oliver.
I love that.
I mean...
Chesney's one of these people who everybody loves. He knows everyone. Yeah.
But, so, what I love about the name of your album is Chameleon.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Because that's what you are. You're ever changing. You're ever developing. You never sit there and go, well, that's Toyah now. That's Toyah done. You know, it's like, you know, I'm not going to try anything new. What a challenge. No, not interested.
No,
you know, it's like, keep going, keep challenging. Because it is that thing of, we're all a work in progress to the day we pop up clocks.
We are all a work in progress. I totally agree. And every album I made, I never wanted to backtrack. I never wanted to repeat the format or the style.
Because it's 20 odd albums now.
About 29.
29, God.
And everyone is different. I wanted to have a different experience. I wanted to be a different person, thus chameleon. And this gorgeous celebration of my work is also delving into unheard demos, unheard tracks, things the fans weren't even aware of.
Now, the other thing is that people need to be aware of is you are going to tour this as well, aren't you? So there's tickets. So the album is out on the 5th of September.
5th of September.
Right. And then the tickets, you can go to toyahwillcox.com.
Yeah, 2 L's in Willcox.
2 L's in Willcox and COX.
Yes.
Yeah, at the end.
Thank you.
And then you're doing a series of concerts with the Human League.
Yes, I'm doing those now.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 solo concerts in October. The Union Chapel, which we're filming in, is
Great venue.
Isn't it great?
It's an amazing venue, that.
And then Warwick Arts Centre. And then I'm touring with Big Country in December. But from March till June next year, I'm touring an up close and personal show, which not only will have stories about the album, but I'm releasing a book as well.
Oh my God.
And we've not announced the book.
It's non-stop. So, but is that sort of more of a intimate sort of one-woman show type
It's
thing?
very intimate, yes. The idea is I'm going to tell stories that no one has heard before, as well
I
as...
was rather hoping you would have told those today, Toyah.
Well, there's some stories that I will open the show with: what happens in these walls stays within these walls. It's one of those.
Okay. Because that's what I love is, like, you know, as you're talking to you or you're reading about you, you go, she worked with them? Oh my God, she worked with them as well. I mean, it is a kind of, it is a sort of, it's sort of Toyah's book of everyone who was ever famous is sort of in your life at some point. Your paths have crossed through a whole range of different work.
And extraordinary circumstances.
Yeah. But that's the thing. It's like you've been a happy victim of circumstance over the years.
I go wherever I'm pulled. I believe that thread should pull you into the unexpected.
What do they call it? The Japanese call it Huawei.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So be like water. You sort of just wherever it takes you.
Yeah.
You're not resistant. You're tough but not resistant.
Absolutely. And I mean, I can give you an example of this. I used to host ex-Prime Minister's Sunday lunches, Edward Heath, at Arundel's.
Right.
Because
It's another thing we didn't know.
Well, don't worry, I didn't tell you.
Okay, good.
I've sung for the President of Estonia in a forest at midnight, 16 miles from the Russian border. I mean, I've sung for the SAS in Belize in a rainforest. You know, these are things that happen away from the public eye.
But when we found out you don't sleep, but it's like, when do you rest? Or is it the old I'll sleep when I'm dead?
A bit of that. I have this beautiful old mill, and it's on the River Avon, and 2 mill streams run under the building, and it's impossible not to sleep when that soporific sound takes you away. And sometimes I just manage to crash for an hour.
I just want to say thank you for agreeing to take part. It's been brilliant to meet you, brilliant to have you as a guest. That is all for this week. I will, of course, be joined next week by another very special guest. A massive thank you to the team here at Corrigan's and the use of the lovely Lindsay room, and to Simon, the head chef, for some fantastic food. If you like what we're doing here, you can find us by searching at Spooning with Mark Wogan across all your various social media channels. And if you want to see us in glorious Technicolor, you can catch us on the Virgin YouTube channel. But until next week, stay beautiful.